Thom Hartmann here on the news. You need to know this. Overnight developments involving the Boston Marathon suspects included a carjacking and a gun battle and have left an MIT campus police officer dead and another wounded. One of the bombing suspects was also killed during the shootout. The entire city of Boston was locked down Friday morning as authorities hunted for the second suspect and an additional potential accomplice. News is evolving rapidly concerning the events in Boston, and we will update you with the latest information throughout the day. Stay tuned. As many as 40 people may have died as the result of the fertilizer plant explosion, according to Tommy Muska, the mayor of West Texas. Mayor Muska told the LA Times that officials arrived at that count because all other residents and first responders have been accounted for. However, authorities are unable to confirm the exact number of people missing. According to NBC News, the facility recently informed a state agency that up to 270 tons of ammonium nitrate was stored at that location, same type of highly explosive chemical used in the Oklahoma City bombing. Despite the potential danger, the company did not account for this dangerous substance in the risk management plan it submitted to the EPA. This is a stark reminder that regulations are meaningless unless government has the resources, personnel, and will to enforce them. We must learn from this horrible event and ensure regulations are adequately enforced to prevent tragedies like this from happening again. In screwed news, as if the economic risks of austerity, derivatives trading, and an underregulated banking industry weren't enough, a new report from Stern and the think tank Carbon Tracker warns of an overinflated carbon bubble in the stock market. The Guardian newspaper explains that the fossil fuel investment bubble is the result of oil, gas, and coal reserves being overvalued by speculators, and the impending value correction poses a huge risk to the global financial system. According to the report, to keep global temperatures from rising more than 2 degrees Celsius, about 60% of the world's fossil fuel reserves must remain unburned. As total reserves are listed as assets in the world's markets, the fact that more than half of that toxic sludge will never be burned means that about 60% of those reserves, those assets, are actually worthless. And allowing these fuels to be burned just for a quick buck is simply out of the question. So it appears that financial analysts and brokers are starting to account now for climate change and are slowly beginning to adjust the value of fuel reserves on the books. The future of energy will rely on green technology, and the economic impact of ending our fossil fuel addiction will be hard to predict. In the best of the rest of the news, the Boy Scouts of America are finally taking a small step toward equality. After extreme pressure from equality advocates, the Boy Scouts will submit a proposal to lift the ban against gay youth members to the group's 1,400 voting members next month. However, Boy Scouts of America says it will continue to exclude gays as adult leaders. Gay rights groups have been demanding a complete lift of the ban against gays in the organization, and churches and conservative groups have called for the ban to stay in place. The Boy Scouts need to stop their discriminatory anti-gay tactics and allow everyone to participate in this American institution. It would be great news if gay youth were no longer banned by the organization, but continuing its policy barring gay adults perpetuates the stigma that there's something wrong with being gay. It's 2013. The Boy Scouts of America should finally join the rest of us in the 21st century. Kansas is the latest state to decide that poor people should be treated like criminals. This week, Governor Sam Brownback signed into law legislation that will subject welfare and unemployment recipients to mandatory drug tests. Despite a similar law in Florida proving to be highly ineffective and expensive, Kansas joins a list of 8 states that have recently imposed laws to drug test recipients of public aid. Since the beginning of the year, 29 states have proposed similar legislation, which of course is backed by ALEC. This isn't about preventing drug abuse or use. It's about discouraging people from collecting welfare or unemployment benefits. It's about treating the poor like they are criminals and perpetuating the myth that people collecting welfare are all sitting around getting high. And it's about keeping the private prisons filled so they continue to rake in huge profits. Last February, a federal appeals court blocked Florida's drug testing law, stating, quote, "The simple fact of seeking public assistance does not deprive an applicant of the same constitutional protection from unreasonable searches that all other citizens enjoy," end quote. It's only a matter of time before the laws in these other states are challenged and hopefully struck down as well. And finally, The constantly changing news cycle this week has made it difficult to trust even the most reputable sources. But Representative Jeff Duncan won't be bothered by the issue of credibility. During a House committee hearing this week, Congressman Duncan asked Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano to respond to reports that the DHS has stockpiled over 1 billion rounds of ammunition to attack American citizens. He said, when Forbes magazine or Drudge or some reputable news sources start to repeat the numbers cease to become internet rumors and they start having some credibility. Yes, you heard that right. A United States congressman cited the Drudge Report, which features conspiracy theories like Napolitano's leadership at DHS was a same-sex takeover dominated by a lesbian cabal. She said, I don't even know if I'd put Forbes and Drudge in the same sentence. Good on her. And that's the way it is today, Friday, April 19th, 2013. I'm Thom Hartmann on the news.